Namaste. Myself Dr. Bhageshri Krishna Sindhi, Assistant Professor. Today I am going to deal with the problem, 5 marks problem, purchase consideration. In the last sessions we have seen the theoretical aspects. What do you mean by merger, acquisition, the different concepts used in amalgamation and the different forms of amalgamation, methods of amalgamation. Two methods broadly we have seen: pooling of interest method, purchase method, and also we have also calculated the purchase consideration under three methods. We have seen under three methods. The first method is net asset method, second is net payment method, third is share exchange ratio method. So today we'll see the problem on purchase consideration, 5 marks problem. So here is a problem. Sagar Limited has 80,000 equity shares at rupees 10 each, and Harsha Limited is going to take over the business of Sagar Limited. Okay, Harsha Limited is going to take over the business of Sagar Limited and make a payment. We told that when a particular person, when a particular company is going to take over the other company, it has to pay the price. So in the form of purchase consideration. So it is going to make a payment. This is the information given in the problem. What type of payments is made by Harsha company to Sagar company? So we'll see. First one is the cash. Okay, cash at rupees 4 per share. So it is going to pay rupees 4 per share, rupees 4 in the form of cash. And the second one is issue of 2 shares at rupees 10 at par. Okay, for 5 shares in the Sagar Limited. That means it is going to issue the shares of Harsha Limited. How many shares? 2 shares. For how much shares? 5 shares in Sagar Limited. Okay, so this is also payment made not only in cash but also in equity shares. Then discharge rupees 1 lakh 6% debentures at 10%. That means it is going to provide the debentures at premium by issuing 10% debentures in H Limited. So H company limited debentures annu kuda Sagar company ge kodta ide. So discharging rupees 1 lakh 6% debentures at 10% premium. Then fourth one is rupees 1 lakh 20 cash to creditors also. They are going to pay the cash to creditors of Sagar Limited in a final settlement. So this is what the problem given, or information in the problem given. So let us go. They have asked us to calculate the purchase consideration, PC. So there are three methods we know. One is net asset, second is net payment, and third is share exchange ratio method. So this problem or this information, with the help of this information we can calculate the purchase consideration under the second method, that is net payment method. So net payment is the payment made in the form of cash, equity shares, securities we are going to take. So so we are going to calculate the purchase consideration. Calculation of purchase consideration. Calculation of purchase consideration. Okay, draw the table, draw one line. So first, in what form it is going to make payment? In the form of cash. So in cash. Okay, they have told first one is in cash. They are going to, how much they are going to pay? 4 rupees. Rupees 4 per share. Rupees 4 per share ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಎಷ್ಟು ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಸಾಗರ್ ಕಂಪನಿದು? ಎಷ್ಟು ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ? ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ 80,000 shares are there. So there are total 80,000 shares. For one share they are going to pay how much? Rupees 4. Okay, in the form of cash. So each, that means 4 rupees each. That means one share ಗೆ 4 rupees, 80,000 ಎಷ್ಟು? That is 80,000 into 4 is equal to 80,000 into 4 is 3,20,000. The next is in the form of equity shares. This we have taken, right? Then in the form of equity shares. So shares also we are going to take. The Harsha company is going to pay the shares to the Sagar company. So that also we are going to calculate. So we'll see how much amount the shares are given. So shares provided is issue of 2 shares. See here, there are 2 shares. Issue of H company 2 shares ಅನ್ನು issue ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. 5 shares in Sagar Limited. That means how many shares in the Sagar Limited? So 5 shares. So we can calculate the payment made in shares. That is for 5 shares of Sagar Limited, how much is issued? 2 shares are issued. Okay, 2 shares are issued. 2 shares are issued. So for how much? How many shares are there in Sagar Limited? 80,000 shares. For 80,000 shares, how much? So this is how we are going to calculate, cross multiply, that is 80,000 into 2 by 5. Right? So if you calculate this, 80,000 into 2 by 5, we will get how many shares? 32,000 shares. So the H company is going to pay 32,000 shares. Okay, to Sagar Limited. So how much it is? They have said that at rupees 10 at par they have told. So we have to calculate the amount, that is value of shares is equal to value of shares is equal to 32,000 shares already we have calculated into how much per share is 10 rupees. Okay, so it is how much? 3 lakh again 20,000. Take it to the outer column. Right? Then regarding the third one, discharging of the debentures. Debentures payment is not to be considered, and in the form of also fourth one, in calculating the purchase consideration, the second method, net payment method, payment made to the debentures, payment made to creditors is not considered in calculating the PC, that is purchase consideration. Even the creditors payment, cash paid to the creditors is also not considered. So total only these two are taken in the purchase consideration. The total is how much? 6,40,000. So what is this 6,40,000 in the form of cash as well as the shares, that is purchase consideration. Purchase consideration. So this is how you are going to solve the 5 marks problem. This is a problem on the purchase consideration under net payment method. So in cash and in shares. But in note you have to write that discharging or payment made to debentures in the form of debentures and to the creditors is not considered in calculating the purchase consideration. So this is how you are going to solve the problem. Then we'll see another problem for the purchase consideration. Okay, so there is another problem on purchase consideration. So here is a problem. I'll just go through the problem first. So here Maruti Limited is taken over by Sundar Company Limited. There are two companies, Maruti Limited and Sundar Company. Sundar Company is going to take over, that is purchase the Maruti Company Limited. So the information is given as under here. A is assets of Maruti Limited. What are the assets of Maruti Limited they have given? That is plant and machinery rupees 3 lakh, then land and building it is 5 lakh, stock 2 lakh, and debtors 2 lakh. So this is the information given. And also next point they have given that liabilities of Maruti Limited is how much? Rupees 4 lakh. Okay. Then see on the same point, rupees 4 lakh in cash paid to shareholders. That means they are going to pay, that is Sundar Company is going to make a payment to the Maruti Company Limited rupees 4 lakh in the form of cash. And D point is balance is paid or discharged is issued by issuing the shares. That means the balance amount after paying through cash, balance amount is paid in what form? In the form of shares they have given. That is balance is issued in the form of shares. How much? At rupees 10 each, at rupees 20 per share. Okay, so which is of 20 per share. So they have asked us to calculate two things. One is consideration for amalgamation, that means purchase consideration. So they have asked us to calculate the purchase consideration. Then second point is number of shares issued to shareholders of Maruti Limited by Sundar Limited. That means two things they have asked. One is purchase consideration and another is number of shares issued by the Sundar Company to Maruti shareholders. Okay, so this is a problem given. We'll solve now. First we will calculate the before going to the calculation of purchase consideration, we have to know which method to be adopted. As I told you, there are three methods. One is net asset method, second is net payment method, third is share exchange ratio method. So with the given information we can adopt the first method, that is net asset method. So we can adopt, so calculation of purchase consideration. Okay, purchase consideration. So this method we can adopt. Under this method, so under the net payment, net asset method, so we can draw the true amount column. Then whatever the net asset method nalli ನಾವು ಏನು ತಗೋತೀವಿ, all assets at a agreed value less all liabilities at a agreed value. Then we arrive at the purchase consideration. So here firstly we take all the assets and then the liabilities. So assets are given, plant and machinery is given, land and building is given, debtors is given, stock is given, and so on. So we will take one by one. So here the first one, value of assets taken over, okay, taken over. And that plant and machinery, I am going to write in short, plant and machinery, inner column it's 3 lakh, land and building it's 5 lakh, and stock, how much it is, 2 lakh. All the assets we need to take under net asset method, that is to calculate the purchase. All the assets taken minus liabilities is the purchase consideration. Stock we have taken, then debtors 2 lakh, okay. Then we will total take it to the outer column so that we can deduct the liability amount. How much it is, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 lakhs, okay. Less liabilities taken over at agreed value, okay. How much is the liability they have given? The liability of Maruti company is rupees 4 lakh minus 4 lakh. So how much? 8 lakh is your purchase consideration. Purchase consideration, how much you got? 8 lakh. Okay, guys. So here purchase consideration is 8 lakhs. So this is one part we have solved. Okay. The second part what they have asked. So they have asked, first part is consideration, right? Consideration for amalgamation. How much amount of purchase consideration wherein the Sundar company has to give it to the Maruti company. So we have calculated taking into consideration all the assets minus liabilities taken at a agreed value. So we have arrived at the purchase consideration is 8 lakh. 8 lakh. Then the second point we need to calculate, that is number of shares issued to the Maruti Limited. So to solve the second, just go on. So in the form of cash they are going to make a payment, and in the form of shares. So we'll see how much shares they have not given, how much shares and the details of shares payment we are going to calculate now. So second thing they have asked in the problem is number of shares issued to. So discharge of calculation or discharge of purchase consideration. In what forms we have to see. Okay. So again we are going to take one amount column. First one is the amount of purchase consideration. We have already calculated amount of purchase consideration or PC. So it is how much? 8 lakh. We have already calculated in the previous step. Okay. So this is 8 lakh. Then out of 8 lakhs, that means the Sundar company has to make a payment to Maruti company, how much? 8 lakhs rupees. But in what forms? They have said that in the C point and D point. C point they say that in the form of cash they are going to make a payment, how much? 4 lakhs. So that we will deduct first. So less consideration paid in cash. Less consideration paid in cash. Okay, paid in cash. How much it is? 4 lakh. So we will deduct how much it is. The balance is how much? 4 lakh. So 4 lakh rupees they have to make a payment through. Then in the D point they have said balance is discharged by issuing shares, they told. Okay, in the given problem. So here, so this 4 lakh has to be issued in shares. So we have to see how much shares is to be issued. That means the Sundar company is to issue the shares. How much shares it has to issue? We will calculate that. So here this is what the amount of to be discharged by shares or in shares. Okay, so the number of shares we are going to calculate now. Number of shares is equal to, so total how much amount the balance is there to be made in the form of shares? It is 4 lakh. So and they have given that at rupees 20 per share. So we have to deduct rupees 20. We will get how much? It is 20,000. What is this 20,000? It is shares. Okay, 20,000 shares of Sundar Limited paid to Maruti Limited. We want now the amount. We have calculated the shares, number of shares. We want the amount. So amount is how much? Share capital 20,000 shares into rupees 10 each. So they told that the balance is issued in the form of shares at rupees 10 each. So at rupees 10 each we are going to take, that is 2 lakh rupees. Okay, share capital or shareholders ಗೆ shares ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ 2 lakhs rupees, but how much we have to pay? Still 4 lakh. So out of 4 lakh, 2 lakh is given in the form of share capital. Then the remaining amount 2 lakh, 4 lakh minus 2 lakh, 2 lakh. 2 lakh is remaining. They have not said any other information. Then it should be assumed. So it is paid in the form of securities premium. In the premium amount, securities premium. That is 20,000 shares again into 10. Okay, so that is 2 lakh. So total 4 lakh. So in the form of shares, how much shares? 20,000 shares. And in the securities premium, again it is 20,000 shares into 10. Okay, so at a premium of 10 rupees, they are going to make a payment of shares by Sundar Limited to Maruti Limited. So this is how the problem on purchase consideration under the first method. And in this we have calculated two things. One is the purchase consideration, then second is number of shares discharged. They have not given in the problem. We have calculated the number of shares discharged. So these are the two aspects learnt in this session. Okay, in the next session we will see the 15 marks problem on the purchase consideration as well as the journal entries to be passed in the books of transferor company and journal entries to be passed in the books of transferring company and amalgamated balance sheet. Thank you.